Hey guys, it's time once again for another retro review. This is the video series where you get to pick the Coliseum videos that I watch, and the winning video will be reviewed each and every month. Now, of course, for those of you that are new to this YouTube channel, this is basically me going through all the Coliseum home videos, telling you which videos you should get and which ones you should not get. Of course, Coliseum videos are no longer made to print. They're out of print. The only way you can really find these videos nowadays is through Amazon and eBay, just to name a couple of places. Well, folks, this is the last review of 2013, and I have to tell you guys, this has been a very good year. Now, like I said, this is the final review of the year, and boy, did you guys make this last vote count, because this was pretty unanimous as to which video you wanted me to end 2013 with. And the video that I'm going to be reviewing is wrestling's most embarrassing moments. Now, before we go any further, I'm sure a couple of you are going like, oh, that's going to be a lot of stuff that's on WWE today. No, it's not that. I'm going to be basically going through these embarrassing moments that have taken place in the WWF that they would consider embarrassing. Now, this review is not going to be an ordinary review where I go in order of what happens. Because there's so much stuff that happens, not only in the ring, but out of the ring and in the studio, that I'm more than likely going to lose track at some point of the order. So I'm going to break it down into different groups. I'm going to break it down one part into some of the wrestling matches, another part I'm going to break it down into vignettes, interviews, and another part I'm going to just break it down into bloopers that happen not only on WWF television, but also for Coliseum video. Yes, the Coliseum video ones are really good. So, let's get started. I'm going to start off with the wrestling matches. Figure you guys want to get that out of the way. So we start off with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who was scheduled to wrestle against a gentleman by the name of Chris Curtis. Well, DiBiase says that he doesn't want to sweat up against some preliminary wrestler and has instead paid another individual to wrestle for him. Now, this gentleman we only know as Mr. Washington. That's all we know. So he pays him $5,000 in cash to wrestle in his place against Chris Curtis. Well, Mr. Washington just gets destroyed. Chris Curtis just goes on Mr. Washington, beats him with a backbreaker, and gets the victory. Now, after the match, Mr. Washington is apologizing. So Virgil gets him in a full Nelson, and DiBiase goes into Washington's tights, pulls the money out of his tights, and takes the $5,000 back in anger. Another match we go to is one that I've reviewed in the past, Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan for the championship. Now, this match is from January of 1986. We get to where, this is early in the match, where Savage is talking to Elizabeth, Hogan gets back up, Hogan punches Savage, and he just, beats him up and then sends him face first into the post. So that's basically that. Now we go to another match that I've reviewed in the past, but this is a very different segment. Well, while this is technically still wrestling, it's also about referees. So this first one is of a match that I've reviewed in the past, Bruno Sammartino against Superstar Billy Graham, where the referee is Gorilla Monsoon. Billy Graham decides that he's had enough, he wants to leave, but Gorilla Monsoon won't let that happen. Grabs Billy Graham, picks him up, throws him back in the ring, match continues, and then Monsoon explains how the match stopped due to pretty much losing control of everything. The other match is a tag team match. Rocky Johnson and Andre the Giant against Don Morocco and Big John Studd. The guest referee is Swede Hansen. Now, a lot of you younger fans might not know who Swede Hansen is. No, he is not related to Stan Hansen, but he was a big guy. He was over 300 pounds. At one point, he was a heel and even challenged on multiple occasions for the WWF Championship. Here, Big John Studd tries to go after Andre, but Hansen's in the way. Well, Studd, knocks Hansen down. And then, for no reason whatsoever, as Morocco is going to the ropes, Hansen body slams Morocco. Johnson lands on top of Morocco, gets the 3 count, and the victory. Very weird. Now we go to a match that probably is remembered a lot of times. We've seen this a lot of times. Hulk Hogan and Gene Okerlund against George the Animal Steele and Mr. Fuji. If you have never seen this match, imagine one of those matches on Raw when they had the guest hosts where the celebrities got involved in a match. But basically we see the conclusion of the match where Okerlund gives a boot to Mr. Fuji. Hogan grabs Okerlund, puts him on top of Fuji. Okerlund gets the pin and defeats Hulk Hogan. Very interesting fact, folks. Gene Okerlund, only person in the WWE Hall of Fame that's undefeated. But you didn't know that. Now we go into an interesting segment because this is going to involve Terry Funk. Here we start off with Terry Funk going after the ringside attendant Mel Phillips, because Mel Phillips put Terry Funk's hat on it. Now this leads into the match that Terry Funk has with the Junkyard Dog from Saturday night's main event. But we see Terry Funk branding Junkyard Dog the last time they met. Then we go into the match. I've reviewed this match like 2 or 3 times already on this channel. You guys can check it out. But the Junkyard Dog gets the last laugh as he brands Jimmy Hart in his red underwear. Yes, red underwear. So now we go to Andre the Giant, who is in a match, this time against the Black Demon. Now, Andre the Giant wins with ease, but after the match, the Black Demon attacks Andre the Giant. That was a mistake, because Andre the Giant grabs the Black Demon, headbutts him, and then as he throws him across the ring, Andre has the mask. The Black Demon has been unveiled. Ooh. So now we go to the Boston Garden, where Hulk Hogan had just successfully defended the title against Randy Savage, when Adrian Adonis comes out dressed as a woman. Don't ask me why, he just was. And Adonis and Savage attack Hogan. Well, after about a couple of minutes, Hogan gets back and he goes after Savage and he goes after Adonis. He pulls the shirt off Adonis and we see Adonis wearing a bra. Like I said, don't ask me. It just happened. Now we go to this match. This is a very entertaining match. And Mean Gene puts this as, this may be the most embarrassing match of all time. The King Harley Race against George the Animal Steele. This is more entertaining than embarrassing. It's your typical George Steele match. Harley Race, tries to take advantage. Steele bites him. They go to the floor. They go back in the ring. They go back to the floor. Go back in the ring. Basically, you get what I'm saying. But at the end of the match, Steele throws multiple chairs in. Harley Race grabs one of the chairs, hits Steele right on the head with the chair. Referee disqualifies Harley Race. George Steele gets the win. Now we go to another match that I've reviewed a couple of times, but I don't mind, because this is for you, the people. Dynamite Kid and Nikolai Volkov from the Wrestling Classic. Volkov sings the Russian national anthem. Dynamite Kid hits a dropkick from the top rope, gets a 3 count for the victory. Now we go to the conclusion of the tag team match from WrestleMania 3, Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine against Jacques and Raymond Rougeau. The end of the match, where Beefcake and Valentine win, but basically this is the end of the Dream Team, and Beefcake is just left out of the group. And then we go to the final moments of a match from Superstars, which I reviewed, between Brutus Beefcake and Johnny Valiant, where Beefcake wins, and then he cuts Johnny V's hair off. Now, at this point, this is it for the matches. Now we're going to go to the segments. Now we go to Jesse Ventura. Now Jesse Ventura, very outspoken, we know that. So we see the final moments of Jesse Ventura in a squash match getting the win. Then we go back to the TNT show, and Jesse starts calling everybody Jack. That used to be one of his things. It's like, okay, Jack McMahon. All right, it's Vince McMahon. You know, Lord Alfred, Jack Hayes. You know, and they get into this weird thing, and Ventura gets upset, and, you know, he ends up leaving, and you can understand why Ventura was upset, but it's the body. Now we go to a Halloween episode, I guess, of the TNT show where the Fabulous Moolah is dressed up as a witch. And Lord Alfred Hayes, he gets asked by Vince, so you know Vince is instigating this, what Lord Alfred Hayes thinks of this witch. Well, he's like, well, I'm sure that she's okay, but the Fabulous Moolah, I would like to see her ride off on a broom one time. Which gets the crowd going, and Moolah gets upset, and she hits Lord Alfred Hayes with a broom. Sort of funny. And then we go to Hulk Hogan making protein shakes. Now, this was from the first Hulkamania video, which I did a long time ago, this review. So, basically Hogan makes these shakes, and he's like, oh, well, I burp powder, brother. Yep, he says he burps powder. Fascinating, isn't it? Well, you know, he takes a drink with vitamins, and then Vince takes a drink, and he likes it. Vince actually says it's not that bad. Then they ask Lord Alfred to take a sip. Ah, boy, poor Lord Alfred. Bless his British heart. He takes a drink, and he doesn't like it, and he leaves running away. Now, we go back to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He's really one of the stars of this videotape. Here we see him going to a hotel. He says he wants the best suite available. Well, the lady that's working behind the counter, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. The honeymoon suite's been booked. It's been reserved for months. I'm sorry. And then DiBiase's like, listen, I get the best hotel rooms in any hotel in the world. I just get it like that. So Virgil hands down a couple $100 bills, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just can't do that. And then DiBiase's, you know, go like that, a couple $100 bills more, and she's like, okay, I can do that. So they kick this couple that just got married into the honeymoon suite. They're out. And then DiBiase has this great line of like, this is the best for them. In 10 years, they'll probably want to sleep apart from each other. That was very good. And then we get, you know, DiBiase getting ready for a match against Lanny Poffo. Poffo reads a poem that insults DiBiase, and that's really all we get there. So now we go back to the TNT show where Bobby Heenan is with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Now, they talk about what happened in the main event of WrestleMania. We then see the aftermath of the tag team match at WrestleMania. We all know what happens. Well, then Bobby Heenan goes into how he and Piper had a meeting the morning of WrestleMania, and Orndorff was not aware of this. And this gets into a heated argument in which Paul Orndorff fires Bobby Heenan on the TNT show. And that's just shocking, and it makes Heenan upset. Well, we're going to fast forward about 2.5 years later, where Bobby Heenan asks Paul Orndorff to come up with him, and he wants Orndorff to tell him how Rick Rude has the best body, not only in the Heenan family, but in the World Wrestling Federation. So Orndorff goes into this rant saying how you've made my life miserable. Rick Rude does not have the best body in wrestling, does not have the best body in the Heenan family. And guess what Paul Orndorff does? He fires Bobby Heenan again. Bobby Heenan gets fired twice by Paul Orndorff. And this time, Orndorff announces his new manager, Oliver Humperdinck. This is not the last you're going to hear of Oliver Humperdinck. As a matter of fact, it goes into this next part, where during the summer of 1987, the managers of the WWF were having a heated battle to get the services of Bam Bam Bigelow. Well, Slick is the last one standing, so he's going to introduce Bam Bam Bigelow as his new guy. Nikolai Volkov is there. Well, here comes Oliver Humperdinck, to a bit of a little bit confusion. And Humperdinck's like, here's my new man, Bam Bam Bigelow. So here comes Bigelow out. And, Slick's like, give me 5, give me 5. And then Bigelow goes into this rant like, you are not my manager. I wouldn't want you as my manager even if you were the last piece of scum on the face of the earth. You and your commie buddy can get out. Which brings Volkov out. They get into it. Bigelow punches Volkov off. And then Bigelow's like, who's my new manager? Who's my new manager? Oliver Humperdinck. So Bigelow and Humperdinck are now together. We now go into this Piper's Pit. Before we get to the Bruno part, Piper has these 2 fans that are in the ring. So he asks this female, who's your favorite wrestler? She goes, Paul Orndorff. And, he gets into this thing like, is he the sexiest person? And she's like, yes. And then he goes into, if you were given one night to go on a date with me, and we went all night long, would you go? She says, no. And Piper kicks her out. So then he asks this male that's in the ring, he's like, who is your favorite wrestler in the WWF? Guy says Hulk Hogan. Get out. Honest to God, that's what happened. And then we get Piper with San Martino. I reviewed that. See, there's a lot of stuff that I reviewed that you really should go back to check it out, guys. But I digress. Bruno and Piper eventually get into a fight. And then we see a full moon, because we do see a brief clip of the tag match, Piper and Orton against San Martino and Orndorff, where Orndorff pulls the tights of Piper, to pull him down, and we, like I said, get a full moon. Now we go to highlights of the Slammy Awards. There's about 4 highlights we go into. The first one is the introduction of Gorilla Monsoon, where his fly is open. Then we go into the best performance by a wrestler on the wrestling album, which goes to Roddy Piper. And Piper has his broom in his hand, and he gets the Slammy, and the trophy breaks. And he makes this joke about how he was here with Tina Turner. That's what the broom's for. He goes into this rant about how, he gets his trophy and it's cheap, and MTV is music to vomit by. And then he ends the whole thing with, I just want to say, I do play Sun City, brother. Which is hilarious if you get the reference. Then we go into this award, most ignominious, and Vince hypes this up, where he's like, this is an unusual category, as there is only one nominee, and the winner is Nikolai Volkov. And I swear, watching this, as Sheik and Volkov are coming out, Iron Sheik falls, and I swear I hear him cursing. But, Volkov's like, oh, thank you for voting me best artist on the album. And, Vince goes into the whole what ignominious means, and Volkov's like, well, I think I'm second place, and all the Americans are tied for first place. Okay, so you say you're second in this, never mind. And then we end the Slammy highlights with Junkyard Dog getting Jimmy Hart, pulling his pants off, and we see Hart wearing red underwear. I know. So now we go to the Body Shop with Jesse the Body Ventura, and his guest is Andre the Giant. Well, Jesse's saying, oh, Andre, you must be enjoying retirement. And Andre's like, I'm not retired. And Jesse's like, well, that's what Bobby Heenan and Big John Studd are saying. Wow, look at that tan. You've been from the beach. Looks like you had on some weight. And Andre's like, well, yeah, I just came back from Hawaii. I also been in Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. I even had on a little bit of weight. So Jesse's like, really? And Andre's like, you want to guess how much I weigh? We'll do a pound. We'll do $1 or a pound. So Andre's trying to get Jesse to buy into it, and he says that he's 5'20", and then Andre touches Jesse's clothing, and Jesse gets upset. Now we go to this segment. This is probably one of the all-time great $1 Million Man segments. $1 Million Man has a basketball, and he calls up this cute little kid. His name is Sean. And he says, can you dribble the ball? Well, he dribbles 10 times. So DiBiase's like, I'm going to give you a chance. If you can dribble the ball 15 times without any interruption, I will give you $500 in cash. It looks like you and your family need $500. You can't get away with this stuff today. You really can't. So Sean's dribbling the ball. He's almost there, and he starts to lose it towards the end. He's like at 13, and he gets to 14, and then DiBiase kicks the ball away from him, and he's like, you didn't get to 15, Sean, did you? And he's like, this is a very hard lesson to learn. If you can't do the job, you don't get the money. And DiBiase laughs. It's just so good. This segment is just so good. Oh, I just love it. Now we go to, I think, the best part of the video, the bloopers. I'm going to warn you guys right now. If you, have little kids in the room right now, and I mean little kids, they got to go out right now. I'm giving you the chance now. Okay, chance is over. Or, if you don't like profanity, get out of the room now. Now's your chance. Okay, so basically these are bloopers from All-American Wrestling, which Mean Gene Okerlund is the host, and Vince McMahon from Coliseum, doing some of the Coliseum videos. Well, we see a lot of All-American with Mean Gene, and in a lot of these videos, Lord Alfred Hayes. And they're just messing it up. There's one really good one where Mean Gene and Lord Alfred Hayes are holding something. Lord Alfred Hayes is holding a cricket bat. Mean Gene Okerlund is holding a plunger. So Lord Alfred Hayes tells Mean Gene that he's trying to get a cricket team together. He's saying, I got Vince McMahon. Would you like to sign up, Gene? And he says yes. Which goes into this question. This is great. Mean Gene asks Lord Alfred Hayes, do you play cricket with a ball? To which Lord Alfred Hayes just breaks out laughing. And then they do the retake of this, and, Lord Alfred Hayes convinces Mean Gene to sign up to the team. And Lord Alfred Hayes asks Gene if they have a ball with what he's got. He's like, oh, yeah, it's in the toilet, And then at the end, Mean Gene, does the whole part about here's where WWF is coming to, to your local town. And he points with the plunger, like the plunger end, not the stick end, the plunger end. And people just go out laughing. It's absolutely great. Another one is Mean Gene sitting alone by himself. He's got the WrestleMania, the magazine for the preview of WrestleMania 3 with Hogan and Andre on it. And, the people, in the control center, they're starting to move the camera a little bit. They're starting to go like this. And Mean Gene's like, oh, you guys think this is funny. You think this is funny? Well, you could go F yourself. into which everybody in the room cracks up. It's absolutely great. And then there's another one where they're celebrating the anniversary of All American Wrestling, and Mean Gene's mom, and I use that in quotation marks, comes out with cake, messes up his suit a little bit, excuse me, and, like he tries to get a couple people in trouble. Lord Alfred Hayes runs out of the room because he thinks Gene's going to do something. It's really good. But Vince McMahon, oh my God, Vince McMahon takes the cake. No pun intended from that last part. Takes the cake in this because basically what he's trying to do is the introduction, the opening for Best of Volume 1. Well, this goes at least 15 takes. We don't see all 15, although that would have been hilarious. So the first one, he messes up and he's like, oh, God damn. Oh. And then the second one, he does it again. He messes up and he's like, oh, yeah, the hell. Oh, the hell. So Vince just keeps messing up. It is just absolutely hilarious stuff. And then to end the video, Mean Gene does the closing, because he's the host of the video. He closes, and cameraman zooms down to Mean Gene. His fly's open, and he's like, oh, so long. Oh, so long. And that is the end of wrestling's most embarrassing moments. I'm going to tell you guys, if you don't have a sense of humor, this is not a tape I would recommend. Honest to God, it really is not. Like I said, the bloopers are the heart and soul to me of this tape. This is what makes the tape so good. I mean, it is just so good. It's funny. The bloopers are great. Some of the stuff, like I said, I've reviewed some of this in the past. It's okay. And then you get new stuff. The $1 Million Man vignettes are good. The Slammy highlights. The Slammies are always going to have bad but funny moments. Everybody knows that. The George Steele Harley race match really has to be seen to be believed. You know what? All in all, if you're looking to have a day, let's say like you're having a bad day at work or a bad day at home. Everybody's driving you nuts. And you just want to watch something that'll just let you, don't take anything too serious. Watch this video. This is a good video. This is a relaxing video, a fun video that, to be honest, I would recommend everybody getting. I'm not saying this is one of the greatest videos of all time, but if you want to have a little laugh, if you want to have a smile on your face for about an hour and a half of goofy, weird, funny moments, then wrestling's most embarrassing moments is that videotape for you. Well, that's going to do it for this review, and that's going to do it for Retro Review for 2013. Hope you guys enjoyed all the reviews, and make sure you watch past reviews right here on this YouTube channel. Well, that's going to do it for me. I will see you all in the new year for another Retro Review. Peace.